Darn it. This is Christina coming to you all with a review on the book Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close is about a 9-year-old boy named Oscar Schell who is in the midst of trying to figure out what a key means after his father's unexpectedly tragic death inside the World Trade Center during 9/11. Oscar finds this key inside of a vase that he finds in his parents' closet, and on the envelope it says black. So Oscar uses that as a sign that his father might have left this key to him so that he can discover something that he might have not been able to say before he died. Oscar goes on a mystery hunt trying to figure out what the key means and what kind of message his father might have left behind for him. Oscar goes on this adventure over several different boroughs in New York to try to figure out what the key means, and in the midst of it all, he ends up finding all these different people with different stories and all these different connections, but none of them really lead to what Oscar is really looking for. The themes of this story, I believe, are missed opportunities, regret, past mistakes, death, love, and the unknown. Although I was really looking forward to reading this book, I can't help but realize that I was left indifferent at the end. Although there were a lot of great moments and great quotes and great sayings and great dialogue, there really wasn't that much else that was going on within the book. Like I stated before in one of my previous videos, I saw the movie back in 2011. I was fascinated with Oscar and his grandfather's story, and I just really related to the characters in a way that I never really felt before. During 9/11, I was in 3rd grade and I was in class, and all I could really remember was my teacher on the floor crying, and she had another faculty member come up behind her and kind of give her a sympathetic, rub on the back. None of us really knew what was going on, but we were all sent home that day, and I just remember the TV being on the news for like a couple of days after that, just nothing but the news. So while I don't really have a really deep connection with 9/11, I did feel some kind of connection with past regrets, past mistakes, and things that are left unsaid that you kind of wonder what would have happened if they would have been said. I think one of my biggest problems about this book, which I hate to say, is the protagonist, Oscar Schell. In the movie, he comes off as this boy who is energetic, just very curious, very relatable. However, in this book, he kind of comes off as narcissistic, very know-it-all, and way beyond his years. And sometimes I found myself wondering, is it really Oscar talking, or is it really the author? I can't really fault a child for being selfish, especially in those crucial, that crucial period and with all that stuff going on. But a lot of times, Oscar in the story was downright mean, and I didn't really see a lot of that in the movie. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't like to watch movies before I've actually read the book, because sometimes I don't really get to enjoy the book itself after watching the movie, because I find myself comparing it and not really enjoying the book itself. Another one of my issues with this book was that I thought that the surrounding theme would be around the terrorist attacks, what were going on in 9/11 during the World Trade Center. And they didn't really talk that much about that, and they really didn't even talk about Oscar's father, who died in the World Trade Center, which I found really unsettling. The only time that we hear about his father is when Oscar talks about some of the conversations that he used to have with his father, and also the recordings that Oscar plays on his phone machine of his father calling the apartment complex when his father's inside the World Trade Center. Another one of the things that I didn't particularly like about this book is the grandfather. There were times when I did feel sympathetic about what he was going through after the loss of his fiance, the loss of his unborn child, the loss of his family, but overall I don't know. I felt like this book was trying to make me feel sympathy for a person that I didn't really want to sympathize with. After 58 years, he still cares for his fiancée Anna, who is the sister of the woman that he decided to marry, and he left his child even before the child of his sister, because he had impregnated her after they had married, and he left her, never really getting a chance to experience their relationship with Oscar's father or Oscar himself. And I don't feel like I should have to sympathize with that. I mean, I don't really have to, but I feel like the book wants me to, when at times I'm just like, you're just a jerk and you can't really handle what life has dealt. I think you're trying to find, different outlets, but at the same time it's like, you have gone through all of these things, so maybe that's hindering you from experiencing the life that you should have tried to fix and live. Another one of my problems that I found that I also related to with some of the reviews that I saw on New York Times, New York magazines, and I think someone had done a review on Goodreads, was that this book kind of hides behind philosophical moments and photographs and different little whimsical things that they put in here, like different pictures like this. It's nothing but like a sentence on each page. This blank pages after Oscar's grandmother, who was typing. She doesn't have the ink that's in the typewriter or the roll of ink that's in the typewriter, so the author expresses like what it would look like, which would be a blank page. And I feel like he did this just so that we could kind of feel some type of attachment to the book without putting it down and realizing what the book actually is. On the other hand, there were some things that I like I said in the beginning. I did like some of the moments that were expressed between Oscar's grandfather Thomas and his grandmother, the moments between Oscar and his father, even the moments that Oscar had with the people that he was able to meet through trying to find out the reasoning behind this key that was found in his father's closet. I also like that there is this like constant tone of missed opportunities and regrets that I think everyone could relate to. And I also like the idea of, especially in the end, about reversing things in your life and seeing like what could have been, but at the same time it's like I was just left with that. It wasn't like, even though you are dealt with this hand, you are able to take it and make something out of it. I wasn't kind of left with that. I was kind of left with, well, this is what life is, and that's always how it's going to be. Overall, if I was to rate this book out of 5 stars like I did on Goodreads, it would be 3 out of 5, just because I wasn't left with any type of, emotion or anything after reading this book. But I do plan on reading some more of his books, due to the fact that some of his other books were highly recommended. Not this one so much, but hopefully the next book that I read of his I will like more, and I hope that I will be able to maybe relate to it just a little bit more. So now I'd like to know your thoughts. Did you read Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close? And if so, did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of left indifferent like I was? If so, leave them down in the comments, and also leave any other book recommendations that you think I should read, or if there's any books by Jonathan that you would recommend. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace and love.